It's 420 weekend, so we're lighting up and taking a big old rip off the brand new 420 Massacre. We watch it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
I want to talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon like that bitch Alice Kramer. Because it's hard being black and gifted. Sometimes I just want to throw it all down and get left it.
Let's get high. Come on, let's get high.
Hey, smoke weed every day.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me, celebrating this wonderful 420 weekend, is my buddy, my co-host, Mr. Aaron Puff Puff Southworth. Aaron, how are you doing this weekend?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'd like doing research for this film.
Yes.
As in, I like staying in and taking bong rips.
As the appropriate research for this film.
Yes,
that
it
is correct. So yeah, this week we're doing 420 Massacre. We'll get to the details on that in a minute, but we're wrapping up our Horrible Horror March Madness
movie.
Horrible
March Movie Madness.
March Movie Madness Horrible Tournament of Awful or some crap.
We don't have a name for it.
Whatever.
We never
it
really
is.
did.
No. But we're finally
But you
wrapping
know what
it up.
it is.
We're finally wrapping it up. It's over.
It's been long.
Yeah, it ran long this year.
Way too long.
So when we last left you guys, we left off with the Final Four, but since then we did the Final Four and the championship round on our Instagram. So if you didn't follow along, we're going to announce the winners now. In the Final Four, in the Crystal Lake side, we have Prom Ride taking on Swamp Ape. Swamp Ape won, moved on to the finals.
What?
Yeah, that's why I was like, what the hell, man?
I know.
But
I can't believe that, man.
Swamp Ape was the Crystal Lake champion. And then the Haddonfield side, we had Lake Fear 2 taking on Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre. And then Lake Fear 2
beats it out.
Now, that was a toss-up, man. I could have seen it going either way.
Me too.
Sharkensaw is shit. It's
crap
so
on a cracker.
bad. Yeah.
It's crap on a cracker.
It is crap on a cracker. But Lake Fear 2.
It's funny because it seems like Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre, just the title, you know it's made for cheesy horror.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why it made this far, but I think that's why Lake Fear won. Because it's schlock. You know it's bad. Lake Fear tried to be good and just failed completely.
Right.
And I think that's what edged it out.
Right.
So that's it. So our championship championship game this year is between Swamp Ape and Lake Fear 2. The Swamp. So we have some swampy movies in this one.
So we're getting pretty slumpy.
Serious swamp ass going on.
Slumpy? Swamp ass all around.
Yeah. I was, again, Aaron and I were both very surprised to see Swamp Ape make it this far. But, it's the voters spoke. And now we did pick Lake Fear to go all the way and make it to the championship game.
We did.
We did pick that one. All right. Good for us.
Good on us for that one.
Yeah. And the winner, based on the votes and based on the Moon Goons and the voters on Instagram and our followers, the 2017-2018 champion, the worst of the worst, is Lake Fear 2, The Swamp. Woo! 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 Yeah, so there it is, everybody.
There it is, all right.
It is over. Lake Fear 2. It's finally over.
Finally over. My God, that was a long go. I mean, we learned our lesson. We're doing 2-a-days next year.
Yeah, we'll make it. We're going to speed it up next year.
Yeah, jeez.
But,
we're overdone. Hey, that's the worst.
But we're done.
The 2017-2018 season,
if you will. Yeah, I guess we could kind of technically call it a season.
Yeah.
Lake Fear 2, man. Congratulations, I guess.
Swamp.
Swamp Ape gave a good running for you, but yeah, so that's over. Lake Fear 2 joins we'll hoisted up into the rafters alongside Alice in Murderland and Terror at Baxter U.
Retire that jersey.
Retired jersey. Retired, yes. All right, so let's move on to our main, our Maui Wowie, I don't know what our Black Mamba Wowie.
We're going to go with some White Widow. We're going to go with some Blueberry. We're going to go with some AK-47. What do you want, man? I got it.
I don't know all the weed names. So, 420 Massacre. This is the newest movie. This is brand spanking new, people. Brand spanking new. It was released on April 3rd of 2018. So just like 2 weeks ago, this thing came out.
This is brand spanking new. Like, I'm really surprised. This is the newest movie we've ever reviewed.
Yeah, well, it's really cool because I guess somewhere out there, people are actually starting to listen or get to know our little show because we actually got, I got emailed by the guy, the writer and director, Dylan Reynolds. He asked us, like, hey, you want to check this out and review my film before it even came out. So, I mean, we had, like, secret access to this.
Secret access.
Before it was even released, we could watch it. And I told him, yeah, we'll do it, but, we'll save it for 420 weekend. And that way, it's already been out, so we're not giving anything away. But, so it's kind of cool. Like, they came to us.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we're not going to hold back. We're going to be honest.
Yeah,
but,
we're going to be honest, and that's what he asked for,
yeah,
too.
he did want to be honest. So he's going to get our honest opinion. So it's not like this is a sponsored episode or anything like that. It's not. But it's still pretty cool.
You could sponsor us if you wanted to.
It's still pretty cool that he came to us and, so, yeah, we're checking this out. And it's fitting right to just go to 420. It's perfect timing.
Absolutely, man. It's 420 weekend. Actually, today is Earth Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. Also, friend of the show's birthday, Sarah Samples.
It is.
So.
That's right. She's the Earth Day birthday.
The Earth Day birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Earth Day birthday girl. But, yeah, this is the weekend, so here we go, man.
Yeah. Now, you can find the movie if you it is on Amazon right now, so you can rent it and buy it there. Right, it's actually pretty cheap now. It's only like a $2 rental right now, so it's on the cheaper end, which is great.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of nice that you can it's out, it's already there, and I'm sure you can also purchase this DVD.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can purchase. They have their website. They have you go to their Facebook page. It's like facebook.com/420 Massacre. They have a website. You can get the DVD if you want. So it's all there. The cast. Let's talk about the cast real quick. The main star, our main girl, is Jess, played by Jamie Bernadette. Now, she's making herself a nice little career as a modern-day scream queen. She's been in a lot of independent horror movies. And she's a local girl. She's a Midwest girl. She's born in Kankakee, Illinois.
Kankakee!
Yeah.
That's just fun to say.
Yeah, it is. She's got 77 credits, including a movie she wrote and directed called The Sixth Friend, which is coming out soon, which I'd also like to get my hands on. All Girls Weekend, The Bunny Man Massacre, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu.
Whoa.
And she also was the voice of Rebecca Chambers in Resident Evil Resurrection.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. So Jamie Burnette's our lead girl. And then we have Aubrey, played by Vanessa Rose Parker. She's got 11 credits. She's also happens to be married to Dylan Reynolds. And then we have Stacey Danger, plays Donna, 22 credits, but nothing I've heard of or that I don't think anybody else is going to heard of. Then we have Justine Washburger, who plays Rachel. She's got 31 credits. She was in the big movies Now You See Me 1 and 2. Those are big release.
Okay.
She's also in the Divergent and Insurgent movies, that trilogy.
Right on. Yeah.
She played Rachel in those. And she was in the horror movie Sorority Row as well. And lastly, we have Mr. Jim Storm. He goes by James Storm in this movie, which at first I was like, holy shit, I thought it was James Storm the wrestler for a second. But it's not. He plays Rick. He's also born in Illinois, another Illinois resident. He is from Highland Park. He's got 54 credits, including 281 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful, spanning from 1987 to 2009.
Wow, that's a consistent character there.
Yeah, it
is.
He was in Night of Dark Shadows, and then he was in Dark Shadows, the TV show, for 81 episodes of that as well. And that's the basically the main cast I'm going to mention. Now we're like I said, we're going to light this fucker up, and we're going to dive into 420 Massacre. So here we go.
So light your spliffs, take your bong rips, steam your steamrollers, vape your vaporizers,
and sit back and relax.
Eat your brownies. I don't know what other weed euphemisms do I have.
You can really go for some brownies.
Yeah.
So we open with these two dudes hiking through the hilly and mountain-lined terrain of some national park. And they're bickering back and forth about being on the right track and whatnot. And for as concerned about getting lost as this one guy is, they certainly don't give a shit about their map. Because when they pull out this map and it's just ripped and torn and shredded, and then when they're done looking at it, they just wad it back up and just like shove it in some random backpack pocket. So yeah, don't give a fuck about the map. I'm like, that's kind of, I would think, a pretty important thing. You want to keep that nice, but there's like, fuck it. Who cares?
Considering they're on a weed heist, these guys don't seem like the brightest of bulbs in the box.
Right. But still, even dum-dums know to keep the map. You need the map. And speaking of, their names are Doug and Buddy. Buddy is kind of the worrywart of the two. He's the one like, oh, I don't know if we should be doing this, where we're going, blah, blah, blah. And as Aaron just said, this is where we learn that they're on a hunt for an illegal pot farming operation. Like there's rumors of like, oh, these pot farmers are going to, we can find their stash.
Guerrilla farmers. So
Guerrilla
these are people who grow marijuana illegally outside and use it to, obviously turn a profit.
Right.
Now, this theme, this is probably the last time you'll ever hear this theme because it's legal in California, where this movie is made. It's legal in so many other states. I think 9 or 8. It's medically available in 31 states. Which makes a good question.
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess there's still always gonna be illegal ones. People trying to sell money on the side for it. But yeah,
this is gonna be this story premise of an illegal weed farm. I think will no longer be valid.
It's always gonna be illegal drugs because I mean, even if the people who aren't in the states where it's legal, they can grow the weed and then ship it to the states where it's not legal.
Sure.
Transport. So I don't see this going away anytime soon.
Well, I think it will be. I think this is going to be one of the last, because I think it's going to be legalized within the next 10 years. It's going to be the same thing as alcohol. No one makes bathtub gin.
And maybe in the next 10 years, yes, but in that 10-year span, you're still, you could still make plenty more movies with this premise.
All right.
I'm just saying anytime soon.
It's on its way out. We can agree on that.
Probably, yeah.
So,
right.
They're going to go steal drugs from a guerrilla farm.
Yes,
which is pretty fucking high risk. And these guys have nothing with them.
No,
they got like shitty backpacks,
and
sleeveless ICP shirts.
Yeah, the one guy's wearing a fucking ICP shirt.
To represent an insane clown posse.
Fuckers. Yeah, like they don't even have like canteens of water with them.
Right.
They came completely unprepared for anything.
How are you guys gonna do this?
Boy Scouts, they are not.
Yeah.
So there's a moment when Doug thinks he sees something large moving around in the brush, but they quickly just blow it off and continue on their way. Eventually, they find the hidden pot crops, and it turns out they found it like right at harvest time. Like,
oh boy!
Time.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Everything's dried up. It's all ready. Some of it's already packaged.
Yeah, like, it's packed. It's all like saran wrapped up. So Buddy pulls out this other backpack from his bag and just begins to fill up with like these pounds of weed, just already wrapped up.
Yeah.
While Doug starts wandering off to look at the rest of the crops. Doug lights up a joint. Buddy looks up and tells Doug that there's someone behind him, but when they look up, again, there's no one there.
Nobody's there.
Again, they quickly just blow this right off, which, I'd be a little more paranoid. If you're invading, like, trying to steal from, like, guerrilla farmers, like, I'd be like, oh, shit, okay, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's try to be as stealthy as possible, like, in and out as quick, because when they find the wrapped package of weed, he grabs a knife that's on hand right there, and it's this fucking giant, like, half a machete Rambo knife, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it looks fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it does.
And this is what he uses to, like, this is the type of shit they're using, so...
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Get in and out. If I was like, somebody's there, oh, I don't see him, I'm still like, I'm gone. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm out. Anyway, they don't care. So Buddy goes back to loading up his backpack with the already wrapped up product. And then suddenly we see a creature that looks more like a man dressed up in a ghillie suit with like makeshift Wolverine claws, only from like they're made of like wooden stakes or something, like pop up behind Doug, and the creature slits Doug's throat with like a knife or something, and then he just disappears.
Yeah, blood spraying out.
Yeah,
it's not a bad effect.
It's not bad. The effects aren't too bad in this movie. I'll say that.
So tell me, you mentioned the word ghillie suit.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
Okay, a ghillie suit is basically like you see a lot. Some hunters use it now, but they originally got like snipers would use them. They're basically these giant suits that make you look like a human bush. Like
So-
it's covered in, like leaves, and it's
In-
like uber camouflage.
Uber, ultra,
Yeah,
you know.
there's some that are like very leafy. There's others that are more like strands, make it look like grass, but yeah, they're like it's like super ultra camouflage.
Super ultra camouflage.
Yeah,
Got
a
it.
lot of times like snipers are known mostly for wearing it, but now like you see like crazy some like mega hunters are starting to wear wear
Gotcha.
stuff too. But yeah, so Buddy finds Doug dead. He takes off running. Now we roll the opening credits here, and I gotta say, one thing about I do like a lot of the music in this movie.
Yeah.
I like the music they play during the opening credits. It's really kind of cool. It's all like original music, and I really dug it. After the credits, we meet our main group of female friends as they drive up. They get out of their SUV. They're somewhere in the same national park, and the girls are going on a camping trip. But they have to leave their SUV behind and hike the rest of the way to wherever it is they're going.
Yeah, so it's they drive in. I do like how they reveal. I can't remember the blonde girl's name again.
Donna, and I was just about to get to that. Yeah,
Donna,
go ahead.
Because they're unpacking everything, and they're like, "Okay, well, we gotta hike in." It's like, "Oh man, we gotta hike in." And there's 4 girls. They open up the back, the trunk,
hatchback, the
hatchback, and the smoke comes billowing out. And there's Donna with a pipe just chiefing away.
Yeah, she makes a big
Headphones on,
grand
like,
actress.
"Whoa, what's up?" She's my favorite.
I like Donna too.
Donna's my favorite.
I'll probably stumble over this later in my notes, but while we're talking about, the one thing I really like about Donna, let's introduce the group real quick.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have Jess, our main girl. Then we have Aubrey, Don, the weed smoking pothead, Rachel, lesbian, and Michelle, who's like the city girl who's never been camping outside the city before, and it's kind of like Rachel's newest girlfriend or whatever. But let's talk about Donna real quick. Like, so many times in the past, we've seen the stoner character in a lot of these horror movies. The loud names can come up, and I've always hated them so much because they're done to the point where they're so over the top.
They're so stoned
There's
they
like-
can barely function in
Yeah,
reality.
and it's like they're like, oh man, yeah, totally weed, man, or they're done with or all they do, or like they smoke so much weed like they're hallucinating. They play, oh, is that that's not? I don't see the killer trying to me from me. I must be seeing something, huh?
Right, like the killer comes up, it's like, "Whoa, dude, you want to hit this?"
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And I hate that so much. But Donna, I will say, Donna is
She's a total stoner.
She's total stoner, pothead. But she's done in a way that's entertaining and doesn't cross, at least in my opinion, doesn't cross that border of being too over the fucking top that
Right.
it makes it ridiculous. So I'm glad they found that happy spot with her in this movie that makes her an entertaining character without being over the top, just that cliche stoner.
just high enough.
Yeah, just high
Just
enough.
that perfect amount of high.
Yeah.
Instead of like going over a little bit too much, and then you're just stuck on the couch, not wanting to do anything. Like,
I mean, there's a few
too
moments
high.
where she starts getting to that edge where she's like getting a little too high, but then they kind of bring her back a bit. So overall, I thought they did a good job with Donna. So now for the next few minutes, all the scenes we get are just the girls hiking through the woods and talking. And I will say one thing.
One thing I mentioned you liked was the fact that they show all the camping gear and them carrying all their fucking camping
That's
gear.
exactly what my notes say. You totally nailed it. I literally wrote in my notes, I actually like that you see them carrying the camping gear.
Dude, that is Marshall's biggest gripe. We've watched so many horror movies, and so many of them on low budgets take place in the woods or camping, and it's always like just hot young people get into a Jeep with nothing around. They drive in, all of a sudden they have like a Cabela's store worth of camping equipment, and it drives him fucking nuts.
Yeah,
it just drives him crazy.
I know, it does. It's one of my biggest pet peeves.
And here is an actual example of them hauling all this shit through the woods.
Everything they took, we see at the camp, they're hauling there with them, and I was like, oh.
This is like Marshall's pet peeve.
I was like, thank God, thank you.
I don't care because we're usually watching a movie about some weirdo, wacky killer, so I'm like, whatever. But this drives you nuts.
It does. I'm like, I understand about the weirdo wacko killer, but Jesus, have some really. It's not magically shit just doesn't.
Well,
appear.
you got it, baby.
I know. So Dylan Reynolds, if you ever hear this, thank you for at least writing that in and having the wherewithal to show them carrying their own gear. So yay for that. Anyway, along their hike, they're bickering. They're not really bickering, but they're bantering back and forth and they're talking. And along the way, they encounter the park ranger, Ranger Rick.
Ranger Rick.
Who Donnie does get a little chuckle out of the name Ranger Rick.
Yeah.
And of course, he asks like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" And we learn that the reason for the camping trip is that it's Jess's birthday, and Rick warns him not to go up into the hills because that's where they have problems. They say we have problems with the gorilla farmers,
Right.
And And it's not the chippy, hippy, dippy type of potheads, but the Cold Stone gangsters who will defend with their product with violence and all that.
So are you getting a weird vibe from Ranger Rick?
Immediately.
Yeah, there's a bit of a vibe. He comes out. He's real. It's 5 women. Who are kind of and he's already playing like the machismo. It's like, why y'all alone? It's like they're not alone. There's 5 of them.
Yeah.
And he asks for a beer. They give him a beer, but he's being kind of creepy and weird. I don't have a good feeling about Ranger Rick.
I agree with you. But he does give them a map, and he's like, hey, stay on the trails, and he points them in the right direction where they want to go, and then he gets in his truck, he drives off. More talking and walking shots. My notes here go. This is where was going to talk about Donna, so I'm going to skip over that. Now even though like I said, there's a lot of time spent on these walking and talking shots, but they take up a lot of time. But I will say at least the writing during this is pretty solid. The banter and bickering is like believable in this. It's not overdone. It's just that so much time is spent on them walking through the park that it gets a little boring.
Well, there's that's the theme throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
There's long dialogue scenes.
Yeah.
There's long character development.
They really do try to build the characters up in this movie to try to make you feel like like you care about the characters when they start dying, like you want and I get that, and like I know there's something to say about the movies where the character is just pure fodder, they're one dimension, don't care, and then there's movies where you do and you want to get invested in the character so you feel something when they die, and I get that, but there's somewhere a fine line between both those, and I think this one is just a little too much to the character development, that it takes up a little too much time.
Yeah, man, we're watching a horror movie called 420 Massacre.
Yeah.
I don't need to break down about how you feel about your dad.
Yeah, yeah, it's well written. I will say that. I will give the writing's fine, the dialogue's solid. It takes up too much time in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so they stop to look at the map after Rachel bitches enough about them this hike taking way too long and that they might be lost. And while they're looking at the map, they hear the sound of crunching twigs or sticks, and they look up to see something large making the bushes move. And after a few suspense-building moments, Buddy comes bursting out of the bushes, pleading for help. He tells them about Doug and that a demon or monster came out of the forest, killed Doug, and he's coming after him next.
Dude, what the fuck did Buddy eat in between his trip from the gorilla farm to running into the girls? Because god damn, he's like borderline like retarded. Yeah. He's just, he's coming after me. He's coming after you. He killed Doug. He's just freaking out, and like he's not making any sense. Like I get it's supposed to be so traumatized and freaked out from it, but like his intelligence level is like boo, just like dropped completely. It's a little over the top.
Yeah, I can understand the guy's freaked out and scared and maybe in a bit of shock, but yeah, there's a line that you it's a very fine line, but anyway, so Jess is asking Buddy like, why is he coming after you? What's going on? And Buddy's like, it's because of the weed. And he opens up his backpack, shows him like a dozen of like pounds of weed or so in his backpack. And he tells Jess like, take it. And of course, Don's like, fuck yeah, take that bag.
He's pumped.
Buddy forces the bag on Jess and he takes off running the other way.
He's like, now he's after you.
Yeah. Donna is like in near tears of joy seeing all this weed. And Jess wants to find Rick, tell him about this. But the rest of the girls basically talk her out of it. It's like, no, just fuck it, let's just go. And they resume their hike as they cut back to Buddy running through the woods. He stops to catch his breath up against a tree. And he looks up and sees the creature standing above him on this large branch. Very kind of Predator-esque.
Yeah.
And the creature drops down in front of Buddy, whips out a large hunting knife, and slashes Buddy across the stomach. Buddy's intestines begin to spill out of him as he drops to his knees on the ground. Buddy tries to while he's on his knees, he's trying to gather up all of his innards and his intestines, like cram them back inside of him. But he ends up bleeding out.
He eventually succumbs to the wounds and falls. I liked it.
Yeah, it's solid. It's good.
I thought it was good. Yeah.
And I did like the way he's trying to
scoop his guts back up. Yeah, I like that too.
Now we go back to our main group, and as they're still walking, they hear loud gunshots ring out. And they
hit the deck.
Yeah, they hit the deck. In runs the hillbilly hunter Roy, who's out hunting rabbits. Rachel gets in his face about being a hunter and killing lists and animals, so we get that she's a big, animal loving, maybe vegan or activist. I don't know. There's something there. Roy gives them a speech about getting a gun to protect themselves, and it's their God-given right, and guns, blah, blah, blah.
They start breaking down, like, the gun argument, which is a super-duper hot topic right now, but they, like, really start getting, like, they're wading in pretty deep into this one.
Don tells him he needs to chill out and gives him a handful of weed from the backpack. She even tells him how to convert his cigar into a blunt and
smoke it like a G.
Yeah, and they go their separate ways.
Dude, it's pretty funny because right off the bat, I mean, they're kind of at each other's throats, and you got the conservative and the liberal, and he even calls her a libtard, and they're getting kind of heated. And then the thing that always calms them down is the weed. Now, it's kind of funny because there's famous Facebook videos of like pro-Trump and anti-Trump protesters yelling at each other, but there's this one clip of a guy flipping a sign upside down, like a protest sign, and on each side, they're all like breaking weed up and smoking it and like getting along and shaking hands, and I'm just like, it just brings people together. Good on you, Donna. Donna diplomacy. Yeah. I'm all about Donna diplomacy.
So like I said, they go out their separate ways, and the girls finally reach their campsite, which doesn't even look like a campsite. It's just like an opening in a field. Like you had to walk. You could have camped right where your fucking SUV was for all you cared, because it's just like some random spot in the woods.
And how long did it take them to get there?
Like they said, it's at least 4 miles. At least 4 miles from the car.
And they're going to a creek area.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing special about this random. It just looks like a random area. It's like fuck it, let's just drop it here. So the girls set up camp, cook up some dogs on the grill, while this song plays. "You Want to Get High" plays. And again, really like the song.
This is what I didn't care for so much.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But I still pleased with the music here.
But we get like a tent building montage.
Yeah, you get it's a little setup montage scene. It's not too bad as far as it goes. During the camp setup scene, we learn that Aubrey is also a lesbian, and she's secretly in love with her best friend Jess. Rachel tells her hey, you know what? Just go for it. Tell you just how you feel. Just balls to the wall, whatever. Meanwhile, Donna and Jess are talking about weed, and that we learn that Jess doesn't smoke weed because it makes her too paranoid. And Donna's waiting exactly to 420 to light up her newly found stash of weed.
Oh, by the way, this is 420 at 420.
Yeah, it's 420 at 420. Thank you.
So it's the actual day 420, and they go into a long
Not
description.
yet. Yeah, that's coming up.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no, I take it back. It's right here.
Yeah.
Donna gives like a 420 history lesson.
Yeah.
It's pretty in depth. I'm not gonna go into it all. But it basically leads her to say that it's our collective duty to blaze up and be jolly, basically to balance out the universal karma of this day.
Yeah, because horrible things have happened on 420, like the David Koresh,
Columbine, Hitler's birthday,
the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, she makes a whole list. They go into a whole bunch of shit.
I remember Columbine. I remember Columbine.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Oh yeah, that was 1999. I was stoned. It was my first freshman year of college, and I was we're getting ready to leave because it's spring. And I'm just stoned off my ass just because it's 420.
Yeah.
And I'm just blazed. And we're just flipping through the channels, and we come across this. This is one of the first major school shootings, and we were just glued. Like,
oh yeah, it was like the first, like, well, I'm sure it might have been others, but it was the first like massive, major nationwide.
It was like shook the nation. Yeah. I'm just watching this, just stoned off my fucking.
I remember being like fascinated with I was scooping up every bit of news I could watch from that. Like, it was insane. And then Don goes on to say that she says that by her being loaded, she is personally shielding them from all the bad energy out there.
Donna diplomacy.
Yeah. So the girls break out champagne, they toast Jess, and they eat their hot dog dinner. We cut to Roy as he gets back to his campsite. He rolls up his blunt like Donna showed him, lights it up.
Sweet.
And while he does this, we hear the sounds of leaves rustling and then twigs snapping. Hearing this, Roy leaps up, grabs his shotgun, but not seeing anything, goes back to smoking his blunt. The creature shows up, staying right behind Roy. It grabs the gun from him, then takes his blunt, takes a large drag off the blunt. The creature then takes the lit end of said blunt and presses it into Roy's soft eye hole. And at this point, we assume killing him.
So yeah, I mean, it's the scene. Roy's sitting there smoking the blunt, and out comes the creature, and he's like, "Whoa, easy." But this is the thing I kind of had a little weird. Roy had him dead to rights with his gun, and then like a fucking ninja, the gun's in his hands. It's like, whoa, it was a little weird. But when he just held him up, he's smoking the blunt. He's like, "Yeah, you like that?" I'm thinking, okay, How are you gonna kill him? Blunt in the eye. Whew,
Blunt in the eye.
That's not bad.
So we go back to the girls sitting around, drinking, talking. We learn that Jess teaches self-defense classes on the side. The girls pressure her into like showing them what she can do. So she basically uses Rachel as a train dummy and just like judo tosses Rachel around.
So yeah, we get like a little idea that Jess can handle herself.
Yeah.
She's a martial artist, and yeah, I got another little crappy story. When I went camping, float trip, same kind of thing was going down. There was a girl who was a judokan. She was like a national champ. She was like really good at judo. I was a freshman in sophomore in high school, and I did like high school wrestling, and I was like, I can take you. So I scooped her up, and then she choked me almost unconscious, just like that. I was like, holy crap. So when I saw that flip scene, I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of stuff does happen when you're camping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Went
off on a tangent.
No, I'm just trying to think. Like you're talking freshman in high school, and I'm trying to figure out who the hell that girl would have been.
No, it was like some weird church group that I went along.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. I don't remember
No.
the high school or groups that we. Okay.
No, it was some weird church group thing that I belonged to because the girls were hot, and I didn't.
Oh yeah, I remember that church group.
Yeah, I didn't believe in God,
Yeah.
but I was like, these girls are kind of hot, so
I went through
Amen.
once to that. I think one of your things there, and I was like, yeah, because you kept talking about how hot. I remember that now.
We named the group Spam.
Yes.
St. Paul's Adolescent Ministry.
Yes.
Yeah, basically the only reason I joined is because a lot of hot chicks, and then we went on like road trips on the Chicago, Washington D.C. float trips. So yeah, thanks Jesus.
So Rachel gets tossed around. We cut back to Ranger Rick, driving and drinking in his truck through the park. He spots the creature running through the woods, and with a "what the fuck," Rick hops out of the truck and tries to spot it again, but the creature's gone. So he gets back in his truck, drives off. Back to the girls. It's now 4:18. So a giddy Donna pulls out her bong, and prepares it for her ceremonial 420 smoking. Now, according to her, once it hits 420, they all have to pass the bong around, and everyone has to take a hit off of it before the 60 seconds are up.
Before it's 421.
Yes,
and it's like a good 3-foot glass bong.
It's a proper bong. It's pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Now, again, in my opinion, more pretty good music plays while we watch each girl, except Jess, smoke from the bong. Rachel and Michelle decide to go down to the creek for some alone time, while Aubrey and Justin head up to like a lookout point or something to watch the sunset, someplace they went to when they were kids, leaving Donna alone to guard the camp and to smoke the rest of her bong.
Sweet.
Jess does take the backpack of weed with her to save Donna from herself, basically, so she doesn't smoke herself retarded.
Too late.
Yeah, too late.
I mean, this girl's pretty fucking ripped.
Yeah, she is. We cut to the creature running through the woods, and at this point, it's really obvious now that, at least for production value purposes, it's really just a dude in ghillie
It's just
suit.
a guy.
It's not like the creature from like Don't Fuck in the Woods or Humor from Deep. You can.
It's not Bigfoot.
No, it's like you can tell it's clear a dude in a ghillie suit. Ranger Rick is seen on foot trying to follow the creature. But Rick then drops to his knees in shock and concern when he finds Buddy's dead body.
Yeah, he's
in the
like,
ground.
oh no, oh, he like drops to his knees, kind of climbing close to. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
He seems very distraught.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
distraught.
upset.
That's a
very
great word.
upset. Yeah.
We go back to Donna. She's sitting alone at the campsite. She repacks the bong while she's talking to it, like it's her buddy. She lights up. The creature pops up behind her. Right as she places her mouth on the bong to take a hit, the creature smashes her head down onto the bong with such strength that the bong punctures her skull and comes out the back of her head, complete with weed smoke bellowing up through the bong in her head. The creature stands up as he exhales a lot because I guess he takes a hit off the bong
and
through her head.
And insult to injury, takes a bong rip on top of it.
Through her head. Exhales the weed smoke. Don's dead. Yeah.
I mean, it's the scene's a little longer because it sounds like he's like pushing down. She's struggling, pushing down, but then bam! It just bursts through the back of the whole head with brain matter kind of hanging on the lip of the bong.
Yeah.
And then as the creature puts his head up, it looks like he's exhaling a ton of smoke.
Oh, he's definitely exhaling smoke. Yeah.
So it's bong rip through brains.
I wonder if you would get that kind at a head shop. Anyway, so we go back to Rachel and Michelle as they arrive at the creek. They lay out a blanket, open up another bottle of champagne. Michelle now pulls out a baggie of Coke and she starts snorting that.
We're turning this motherfucker
yeah,
up.
they're taking it up a notch here.
Now, is coke the new weed?
Who knows?
Because I mean, weed's basically going to be legal.
Yeah.
You know, it's tons of fun, goofy movies are made about it. It's got such a huge culture around it. It's going to be legal. Is coke the new weed?
I don't know.
The new underground fun drug?
It probably would be. I guess if you just look at it from in that perspective, I guess that would be the next in line to step up. But I don't know. It's not like Coke's got its own foothold. It's been around forever, so it's not like it's going anywhere. So,
yeah, but it was like, whoa, here we go.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it'd be like mushrooms or something.
yeah,
but no,
mushrooms.
man.
Yeah, but nope, straight to the
We're
Coke.
doing key bumps in the woods.
Yeah. So we go to Jess and Aubrey as they reach the lookout point. They have plop down on a log. They talk about their childhood memories, laughing it up, whatever. And,
get out your maxi pads for this.
Yeah,
God
this is
damn.
Yeah, and this is where we learn that Jess and her dad don't really have a good relationship.
And this is a long
But
scene.
yeah, it doesn't fucking matter because none of this comes back later.
It goes on for a while.
Yeah, it try to have like a heart to heart here. It tries to get all tender moment between Aubrey and Jess. They talk it out, and then it's right, like oh, and that's when Aubrey goes in for the kiss.
Goes in. She's like, "This is it, baby."
Yep, and then, but Jess like uh-oh, and she pulls back, and everything gets real fucking awkward real quick.
There's nothing like watching an awkward moment in a horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's have some fun. Let's get some. Now I'm just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Go back to driving brains through bongs. I don't want to talk about my feelings and how, I just don't like you. And it's not, you're beautiful, but it's not you, it's me. I'm like,
I just don't feel that way, but blah, blah, blah.
I like dicks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Jess does say, hey, I had my suspicions that you like me, but I don't feel the same way. Aubrey comes clean, lays everything on the line. Jess doesn't feel the same way. Again, a lot more character stuff here, which would be okay. Again, would kind of be okay if it just didn't take up so much time. And I don't want to say doesn't really have a point in the long run, but just
really doesn't have a point in the long run.
It takes up so much time. It
takes
really
up a lot of time. And it's like both these scenes, because we had this great kill. We had this great kill with the bong in the back of the head and the puff and smoke. All right. And now it's lesbians by the creekside doing blow and talking a lot. And then this picturesque mountain scene of the two gals, about to make out, but one's not gay, the other one is. It's taking up like a lot. It's taking up a lot of time.
Yeah, it really is. And then anyway, Jess and Aubrey, they head back to camp.
It's just not moving the story forward.
Yeah, it's like so much for the fucking sunset, I guess. They ruin
no
that.
shit.
They go back to the camp. We go back to Rachel and Michelle at the creek, and now they're having like some deep philosophical conversation about life and some bullshit.
Again,
it's not bad writing. It's pretty solid when you get down to it, but at this point, I just don't care.
Right.
I just don't care. I mean, for fuck's sake, at this point, we're an hour into the movie and hardly anything's happened.
Exactly.
A few high spots have happened, but for an hour in, it's like, God, it's been a lot of dialogue.
Come on,
lot
guys.
Of talking.
The weed's wearing off, man.
Yeah. Eventually, Rachel and Michelle end up making out on the blanket. They start going at it. Rachel starts to kiss her way down to Michelle's crotch. Michelle just happens to look over and see the creature dash behind a tree. Scared, she sits up, telling Rachel that someone's there. Rachel not seeing anything, but she's like, you know what, fine, I'll go have a look anyway. And, well, you know how that normally ends. Rachel heads off, but she shortly gets startled by Michelle, who has caught up to her and not wanting to be alone.
To which Rachel, very bro-like, is like, you got your clothes back on?
Yeah.
Why don't you take those back off?
Neither of them seeing or hearing anything. Like, fine, fuck it, let's go back to the blanket. They start going back to making out again. Now we see the creature pick up the bottle of champagne that Rachel tossed.
The discarded bottle of champagne. Litter bug.
Yeah, litter bug.
Man.
The national park, shame on you.
Didn't Ranger Rick teach you anything? And I'm not talking about Ranger Rick from the movie. I'm talking about the little raccoon character.
Fucking love Ranger. Yeah, I had those magazines. I loved my Ranger Rick magazines as a kid.
Also, I think it's Give a Hoot, Don't Pollute.
Yeah, that was
Hootie.
Yeah.
Hootie the Owl.
Hootie the Owl.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish. Not that Hootie. That Hootie just wants to hold your hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, our creature guy picks up the bottle, and then smashes the bottle on a tree.
Yeah, shattering it.
Super loud.
Super loud.
And yeah, again, like, what? And Bruce's like, wait, did you hear something? I'm like, Yeah, no shit. You would hear the sound of a bottle breaking like just feet away from you. That shit would echo through the woods and be really loud.
Right.
And that's not like maybe a deer stepping on a twig. That is a distinctive shattering sound.
The sound of breaking glass is so distinct and unique, which I love that
and
sound.
would be so out of place in the woods.
Yeah.
I
It's like you expect Stone Cold to come out.
You just expect Stone Cold's gonna come out from nowhere. I was trying to get to that myself, but yeah, you beat me to it. I mean, she would definitely hear that shit, but no, they're like, whatever, nothing there. And then, so the creature then just suddenly pops up right behind Rachel. This guy's a fucking ninja, by the way.
Yeah.
Grabs her by the hair, pulls her head back, and then stabs Rachel in the soft eye hole with like the broken bottle. Blood sprays out. But I will say the best part is the blood that starts pouring out the mouth of the bottle, out of the spout.
I saw that too. I wish they said emphasized a little more on that.
A little more close
because
about that.
they show that and you see it happening like, oh, that's cool.
But then they cut away. They cut to Michelle screaming underneath her and getting covered in blood. But I wish they would have done more of like the close up of the blood coming out of the mouth of the
like
because
it's
that looked
pouring
great.
the blood out, just like dumping all over.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Michelle is able to scramble to her feet. She runs off. We go back to Jess and Aubrey, who think they heard screaming, and like, oh, did you hear screaming? And then like we go right back to Michelle running. She trips and falls, so we get that old chestnut, that cliche, which is fine. I don't care here. She's the city girl anyway. She tries to hide amongst like the tall grass in the bush. The creature runs into view, but like immediately spots her. Like just there's no doubt. Like, oh, you're right there.
There you are.
And he charges her. We jump back to Jess and Aubrey, getting back to camp. They find Donna's dead body. Aubrey freaks the fuck out, as rightfully so. She starts yelling out for all. He's like, Rachel, Michelle. But Jess has the wherewithal to like quickly cover up Aubrey's mouth. He's like, don't do that. Because like whoever did this could,
right. There's
we're not alone.
Yeah.
And in runs Michelle, covered in blood. She tells him that Rachel's dead and that the killer's right behind her. She pleads with them.
That should be the cue to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, she's pleading with them like, we gotta get the fuck out of her right now. But Jess is like trying to tell her like, hey, we can't just go running off without a plan. The car's 4 miles from here. We can't just blindly run off. We got, try to think here for a second. Michelle's like, fuck that. Fuck you. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And off she goes off by herself. Jess like, God damn it. And she's like, Aubrey, he's like, do you still have the keys? You have the keys to the car? She's like, yeah, I have the keys. She's like, all right, good. Let's go after. So they go after Michelle now to try to catch up with her.
Man, part of me would be like, let her go. Sorry. See ya.
We cut back to Rick in his truck. He drives up to the girls' campsite, finds Donna dead, and no sign of the other girls.
And again, looking very distraught, like, oh my God.
So he grabs his crossbow out of his truck, which I was surprised to see a crossbow. I thought it'd be more like a rifle or a shotgun.
Yeah, because when they showed the scene when Ranger Rick first comes into contact with the campers, when he grabs the map out of the car, they show the butt of what
stock
seemed to be a rifle to me.
Yeah, I thought it was like a shotgun.
He pulls out a fucking crossbow.
He's like following Daryl Dixon, man. He's just fucking crossbowing it up. So he gets out from his truck and he goes off to look for the girls on foot. Now, Jess and Aubrey manage to catch up with Michelle, but before they can reach her, the creature leaps out from fucking nowhere. Like just boom, right behind Michelle, and begins to slice and dice her with the hunting knife. Now, if I'm just at this point, if you're gonna go through the trouble of giving this killer like wooden Wolverine claws, like why not fucking use them then?
That's a good point.
Otherwise, what's the fucking point there? I mean,
they're just in the way.
Not once this movie does this creature killer use those things, and they look like they just be in the way then, because there's like these 3 or 4 giant wooden stakes like coming out of his hands.
Yeah, they're fucking Wolverine claws.
Yeah, they're Wolverine claws. It's like, but like just fucking use those. Like why? But no, like they never use them. They never come into play.
They look kind of cool.
The creature just brutally stabs the shit out of Michelle. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty fucking brutal, and it looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. There's a small blend of CGI blood, which isn't overkill. They do it enough. It's the combination of practical and CGI is well done.
So Jess picks up a large stick, ready to attack, this thing, which is now turned around and sets attention on her. But Aubrey just pops up, bashes over the head of the rock, knocking it out.
Yes.
They chuck at Michelle. She's dead. And then the creature does like an Undertaker Kane sit-up, and the girls take off running.
Yeah, again, this is where I harp on it. She fucking brains him.
Yeah.
Right? Knocks him down, seemingly unconscious. Keep going.
I know.
It's my classic.
I know. It's your classic. Maybe she thought, like solid hit over the head with a large rock, but, might have done the trick. But, yeah, I mean. So they hide behind a tree as the creature runs by them in the opposite way. They turn to run, and they run right into Rick, who nearly shoots them as he pops up from behind a tree. They tell Rick what happened and that some maniac thing killed their friends. Rick says that, hey, I warned you not to mess with the weed farmers. The girls insist that they never went up to the hills, but Rick's not buying it, and he grabs the backpack from Jess, opens it up, saying, then what the hell is all this?
Yeah, he knows exactly where it's at.
Yeah. He's like a fucking bloodhound, man.
Wowie, wowie.
The girls try to explain to him that it's a mistake, that it was forced on them by this other guy. Rick's like, whatever, you know what, follow me. I'm going to put the end of this once and for all. And he starts walking away. And the girls hesitate here, and they're whispering to each other back and forth. I can't quite make out what it is. But Rick hears this as he's walking away, and he says, like, I can hear you whispering. And he's like, I think you're conspiring to conspire, and that really hurts my feelings. And then all of a sudden, like, Aubrey's spider sense starts tingling here.
Yeah.
Like, a little too soon, in my opinion. Like, a little too soon here. Aubrey's like, tells Jess, like, run, I'll catch up with you. And she gives Jess, like, this little push, like, creates some space. And then Aubrey gives Rick, like, the double bird, like, the double fingers, and says, fuck you, pig. And then she starts running off, and Jess goes the opposite way. At this, Rick just starts laughing while he's aiming his crossbow at Aubrey, saying, here we go. And he fires a bolt. It punctures Aubrey through the calf. She drops to the ground. Jess screams out. Rick turns and fires another bolt at Jess, nearly hitting her as she runs off into the woods. Rick stalks after her. Now, this isn't a big surprise. You kind of see this coming, but the fact that just because he says, like, I think you're conspiring to conspire and that hurts my feelings, that's really not quite the red flag that I think, it should have been something else that he says.
Because right off the bat, we realize that Ranger Rick is kind of a weirdo from our first interaction with him.
Yeah.
He's kind of a weirdo. But then, this like sudden switch from, just weirdo Ranger Rick to being, probably part of this.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
group.
he says, just by him saying, I'm going to take, we're going to end this once and for all. Like,
and
doesn't mean, like, at this point, doesn't signify, I'm going to take care of you. It's like, let's go kill this, finish this off.
And as the viewer, I'm really confused too, because when we see him find the other bodies, he's like, oh my,
exactly.
He's like crawling on his hands and knees in like worry and disgust, and he sees the creature. What the hell? Instead of being like it's.
Well, I in high respect, I can kind of understand the what the hell, because he's probably like, okay, it'd be like seeing your partner or whatever, like running away, like, oh fuck, what's going on? Why is, like, if he's running, something's happening, so that'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
Still, it's.
But I could say it's like they didn't. I don't know. I agree. It's like he should have just said something like something like you should have taken my weed or something like that as he's walking away. Right. I don't know. And then be like, oh shit, just run. Like, but just saying, it just was too soon.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for that.
I agree.
So Rick stalks after Jess. Jess ends up hiding some thick brush as Rick passes her by. Thinking she's safe, Jess comes out from behind spot and tries to gather her wits against a tree. Again, always against a tree, and this always ends badly. Not just this movie, but like every movie in the woods, somebody always ends up resting against a tree, and it always ends up badly.
Just don't rest.
Just don't rest up against a tree. Just if you're gonna rest, just keep turning yourself in circles or something. Just don't come to a standstill against a tree.
Turn yourself in circles. What do you mean?
Well, if you're gonna stop and catch your breath, just like turn yourself around.
Oh, to see what's around you.
Yeah, keep your eye 360.
Because you did this weird little dance, and I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing.
Not do the hokey pokey or something like that.
This weird little dance. I'm like, I don't know what you mean. You really have to explain this to me.
Anyway, so yeah. Like I said, she gets grabbed from behind by the creature who pops out from behind the tree, and the creature's about to slit her throat, but Rick shows up, stopping it. And Rick says he's happy that she's so enthusiastic, but, tie her up, drag her over here to the other one. Jess tries to wiggle free, but Rick punches her in the stomach and then follows it up with like a right hook to the face.
Bam.
The two of them then take Jess over to where Aubrey is, who's still trying to crawl away.
This is where shit gets dark.
Yeah, it gets real dark here.
Whoa.
Rick walks up to her, pulls the bolt out from her leg, and then orders the killer to pick up Audrey and then drag her over to Jess, who's like on her knees. So now Jess and Aubrey are on their knees.
Dude, they're
kind of like in a proper like execution style fashion.
It's getting real dark real quick here.
As the killer stands behind them and Rick is staying in front of them, Jess wants to know why they're doing this to them, and Rick simply explains that he's protecting their investment and that's not personal, it's just business. Jess begs and pleads with him to let him go. They won't tell anybody about any of this, which never works in any ever movie.
I won't say anything, I swear.
Okay. I was like, you know what? I believe you. I'm going to let you go. Have a nice day. See you later.
Something about you, kid.
Would you like to buy a dime bag before you go?
Yeah. Are you interested? Yeah. I like the cut of your jib. You know, you're going to go ahead and go on off.
So, of course, Rick denies them, saying that he can't take any chances, especially around harvest time. Plus, the boy is so giddy and excited it would break his heart if he didn't kill them. So now we officially learned that the creature really is a guy in a ghillie suit.
Right.
It turns out it's Rick's son, who is an ex-military guy.
Yeah, he came back from the war all fucked up, PTSD'd.
And Rick goes into this backstory about how his brains are all scrambled now from PTSD, and that he was turned into a highly trained, remorseless killing machine, but spit out by the government once they were done with him. And like now they found weed was the only thing that calmed him down. And then,
calmed him down.
Which then, it's kind of opposite weed. I don't know anybody who weed turns them into like a killing machine. But and then that led to them doing this or something like that. And it just blossomed from there.
Yeah, so basically he came back from the war. The drugs that the doctors were giving him made him a drooling retard, I think is the actual quote.
Yeah, they dropped the retard a couple times.
But the weed, however, calmed him down. Really? So then they planted a few seeds for personal consumption, but it flowered and blossomed, and then they were like, wow, we're making buku bucks.
Exactly. And he's monologuing, he's blah, 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 and some more backstory. Rick lights up a joint, and as his son goes up to Aubrey and just brutally just slits her throat right in front of Jess.
Sawing into her throat.
Yeah, I mean, this scene is fucking horrible, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, it's a horror. Yeah. I mean, Aubrey, like,
it's gruesome.
She knows she's about to die, and she's crying.
They're looking in each other's eyes.
Yeah, and
I love you.
Right as a knife touches her throat, she's like, I love you, Jess, and Jess like, I love you, and then just and that's why I was like, oh, he just slits her throat. But next thing you know, you see him holding her head up like in front of Jess, and he's just holding it up like a fucking trophy.
Well, dude, when she falls, Rick is still talking to Jess, and you can hear in the background, he's fucking sawing away through her fucking head.
It's brutal.
Ranger Rick then starts talking about holding the head up.
Yeah, and Rick is like telling Jess, like, you know what they say, like the brain's still alive for 8 seconds after a beheading, and that you can see a lot in those 8 seconds.
He like really breaks.
You can have thoughts, you can have emotions, and he's like, you know what? I often wondered what it'd be like to die that way. And he's like, maybe you can tell me, Jess, or something like that. And he turns to her, but at this point, Jess has gone from fear to like this pure stone cold anger, and tells Rick that he's going to die before her. And with that, we see her like she's like working her way out of her binds behind her back. And Rick says he likes her undying optimism, but just die, bitch. And the son then holds Aubrey's head directly in front of Jess one more time.
Dude, that's...
And then he just tosses it to a side like it's like an old apple core. Just tosses it aside and pulls out his knife. And he's about to kill Jess when she throws dirt in his eyes, which allows her the opening to judo throw him on the ground. So that comes back.
Which we've seen before.
Which is good because there was, I forget what movie it was. It was very recent, but somebody else did that.
The Mutilator. We were watching The Mutilator.
Like,
and they showed the girl do this awesome judo tip toss.
Never came back.
And then jumps on top for ground and pound, and then just she
never
uses it
But
again.
here, it does come back.
Yeah.
And so, good. Again, that's good, solid. They brought it back. It had a purpose. Where was I? Oh, she kicks the knife out of the son's hand, picks up a large stone and chucks it at Rick, who was reaching for his crossbow because he was distracted because he was
too busy
smoking
the sticky
and he's like, oh shit. He tries to get his crossbow, but gets hit right in the center mass of the big old stone. He gets knocked over. Jess picks up the knife, takes off running. Rick's like, get after her, hiding behind a pine tree. So Jess hides behind a pine tree. The son runs by, but Jess gets grabbed from behind by a not so dead but really fucked up Roy the Hunter.
Dude, Roy the Hunter is back.
Dude, he just had a run-in with fucking Jacob Goodnight from Kane, man, because both of his eyes are missing.
Both of his eyes.
They've been burnt out of his skull. He's just like blood coming down his face.
And he's like, help me.
And Jess like, shut up, quiet down. And she gets him to quiet down a little bit. Roy tells her that his shotgun is back at the camp. So Jess decides that, you know what, I'll lead you back to camp. You just have to tell me kind of which general direction.
But I love it. Where's Kim? Like, girl, I don't know. I'm blind. I'm like, there's comic relief all of a sudden.
Yeah. But as soon as they take like two steps, up pops the son, who easily and quickly just throws Roy to the ground.
I think he like stabs him and throws him through the air.
Yeah,
with
I couldn't
the
tell.
knife.
Like he like stab him, like do like a fucking like.
Yeah, because he has these giant fucking knives. These.
Yeah, they're like Rambo-esque knives. They're
they're
huge.
like small swords, large knives.
Yeah.
I can't. You pick them.
Yeah.
And he throws it into Roy, and he throws him through the air because I see a bunch of blood coming out, and he does that. He does that.
do it?
You know.
All right,
it's
I might have missed because I'm sorry, Ryan. I saw him go flying through the air, and then he just, instead of like stabbing him, the son just like beats the shit out of Roy. Like he's not even stabbing him anymore. He's just like punching him like violently over and over in the face. Jess leaps on his son's back repeatedly and violently, stabbing the son with the hunting knife.
Yeah.
So she, like the knife that she picked up earlier. So apparently the son has like just like buku knives is apparently strapped to that ghillie suit somewhere.
Sure.
He's got more knives than, I don't know, like fucking whatever.
A knife store.
A knife store, yeah.
we have no good more knives than
a knife store.
Huh. Well, we kind of let that one fall flat, didn't we?
Well, then a Japanese hibachi chef or something.
It's better. It's better than a knife store.
Anyway, she hears Rick approaching. She runs off. Rick finds his dying son. He's like, no. And he's like,
you sit this one out.
yeah, exactly.
I'll get her.
Meanwhile, Jess has run herself up to like a large cliff. She's like blocked in now.
Yeah, she's booking through the woods, and then she throws
Yeah.
on the brakes because the hill goes down real fast.
It's not even doesn't go down. It's just a drop off. It's just a
basically
giant
a drop
cliff.
off.
Rick shows up behind her. Now, I have to say that this old man must be in amazing fucking shape, because he apparently is able to keep up with Jess with ease.
Dude, this is James Storm.
Yeah, and he's not even breaking a sweat.
No.
Like Jess is in good shape. We see her hustling, running her ass off,
Yeah,
and he just like pops up like, "What's up? I'm here," and it's like, what? Like, we see the killer like running. I get that. Okay, and he was military. He's in good physical
Right.
shape. I get it. But this guy's like in his 60s maybe, and he's just like,
Kind of a gut.
yeah, and
He's been drinking all day, too.
drinking and smoking weed all day, and this guy's just like able to keep up with this girl and like pop up with all the time, like in the right place. Like, bullshit. Bullshit. Like, I get maybe if he was in his truck, yeah, but he left that a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that bothered me. I really had an issue with like this guy. He could at least come up huffing and puffing like Jesus Christ, girl, or something like that.
Right.
Stop running, and make some line like, this guy's weird. Like, he's like, you're gonna give me a heart attack, or because he's been very kind of lackadaisical, kind of playing with her anyway. So he could have said some witty something here about going on a wild goose chase or making him chase her. He's like, you're just pissing me off. But no, he's just like, oh, I'm here. Everything's fine.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Yeah. Oh, damn it. Well, fuck that. I had a joke there, but I'll skip it. Because I'm not gonna go back now. It would. Anyway. Fuck it. I'd say Rick pops up like a bad hemorrhoid all the time. So.
I was like, I want to hear your joke.
He just pops up like a bad hemorrhoid is what I wrote.
I didn't know that.
Jess tucks the knife like into the back of her pants behind her back before Rick sees. And Rick sets down his crossbow and says to Jess, since that you're the birthday girl, you have two options. One, you can man up, turn around, and end it quickly, meaning jump off the cliff. Or you can be a little chicken shit with a push. And I'd be very happy to lend a hand with that.
So when she puts the knife, let's just rewind just a tiny bit to when she puts the knife in her pants.
Yeah.
She's got a giant fuck off Rambo small sword giant knife.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing these things are razor sharp. I'm guessing he's keeping them pretty well in shape. She slides it into the back of her Lululemon yoga pants.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm like, whoa, Jesus Christ. The thing's so big.
It's huge.
I'm like, this is not going to end well for her. This is going to just cut up her ass.
She's going to have a second ass crack.
Right. I mean, when I saw her doing that, I'm like, no, girl, that's going to hurt so bad. It was kind of like, really?
I guess you gotta
really?
but you got to do what you got to do to survive,
Yeah, because
man.
all she's in basically is yoga pants and a sports bra.
Because we see a scene where she takes her shirt off for some reason. Like, why are you taking your shirt off?
It's getting hot, man.
It's like, what is going on? Like, it's really weird. But then I started thinking, like, I was kind of wondering if this is, remind me if I'm wrong here, or correct me if I'm wrong, but there are a lot of things in this movie that kind of reminded me of Predator. Like, one point.
If you got the weed, I gotta kill you. Get rid of the weed. Instead of like in Predator, they have the guns.
No, it's not that. It's but isn't there a line in Predator where like the one of the village people is like, the jungle came alive. The jungle came alive, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Doug says the forest came alive, or when Buddy says that when he killed Doug. So that's could be a reference. And then you have the killer who blends in with the forest, very much Predator.
True.
And then doesn't Arnold Schwarzenegger, right before the big showdown with Predator, doesn't Arnold Schwarzenegger like rips his shirt off. He's bare chest. He takes his shirt off as he prepares for that fight. Like, I don't know. I'm stretching it, but
the showdown at the end, he's covering himself with the cool mud.
In mud, yeah, but he takes it at some point. He takes his shirt off, just like for like no other reason.
Arnold always takes his shirt off for no reason because he's fucking Arnold.
I don't understand why she takes her shirt off.
The first two you had, I was like, okay, I see where you're going. The last one, nah.
It's the only thing I think of, because like, why else would she take her shirt off? Because one, if you having a black shirt on makes you harder to see than exposing your bright white skin. Like, I don't know.
She's gonna be offended because she's like, "Bitch, I tan."
Still, you're not as dark as that black
right.
shirt. You hide in like the shadows of a tree or the bushes easier than just exposing like your.
I don't know, man.
It was weird. I don't understand why she took it off. She did take it off.
Let's get sticky.
Anyway, so he's saying all this Rick is saying all that as he closes the gap on her. And he's still smoking his joint, by the way.
Yeah.
Never manages to lose a joint in the chase scene in any of this. He's still smoking away. Proper smoker there.
Right. I'm pretty impressed, honestly, with Ranger Rick here smoking his doobies and committing like horrible atrocities.
Yeah. So Jess baits him in closer by insulting him some more. Rick offers her a hit from his joint for like, hey, one last puff, last drink or something like that. Before he grabs her by the neck. Now, he rambles on about how he gets all tingly and excited about killing, and he asks her if she's ready to die, crying, just like, no. But, again, she's rope-a-doping here. But the sad face turns to angry face. As she says, "Are you?" And then she pulls out the knife, stabs Rick, like, right in the base of the neck, like, right in the collarbone, the clavicle? Clavicle, thank you. And Rick collapses to the ground. Jess is like looking at him. She's backing away. And basically, I guess, is leaving him to bleed out. And then when she does turn to walk away, there's the son. The son charges her. We're like, oh shit. But instead of attacking her, he knocks her to the ground, just pushes her out of the way, runs over to Rick. So I'm like, okay. And he drops to his knees like, oh, okay. So he's going to like, oh no, it's dead. But again, instead of helping Rick, the son takes the knife, stabs the shit out of Rick, and then cuts Rick.
Then cuts Rick's head off.
Yeah,
He cuts his head off.
Yeah, it's like, what is happening?
Whoa. But I mean,
why?
And he cuts his head off and holds his head next to his,
and like they have like this touch moment where they touch forehead
with a severed head.
And like, what the fuck?
The only thing I can think of is that Rick was, in my opinion, jokingly like curious about dying that way, and I guess the son's like, I'm gonna fulfill his wish.
Isn't that like that's like off? That's like too retarded. Like that's like something like a serious, like a real retarded, like 8-year-old would probably in some weird way think of that'd be a good thing. I don't understand why this happened. But that's the only thing I thought the same thing too. But at some point, it's so far out there, like that can't be, like that makes zero.
That's got to be it. It's got to be it.
So if that's it, like, I'm sorry, I hate it. Like, why would you do that?
I'd be so pissed off of Rick. I'd be like, I was joking, you asshole.
Like, I'm not dead. Like, you can pull the knife out of my neck, or my shoulder, or whatever. Like, I'm not dead. Like, I would have lived. Like, what the fuck? Like, you just killed your dad.
Or if I'm gonna die, let me go peacefully. Don't cut off my fucking
Yeah,
head.
like, what the fuck? You could have taken me to my truck. We could have gotten help. I have a radio in the truck.
Asshole.
Like, fuck you. Meanwhile, Jess has got her hands on Rick's crossbow, shoots the son in the back. The son charges Jess. She shoots another bolt into his chest, but he keeps coming. The son knocks the crossbow out of her hands, grabs her, but Jess grabs one of the bolts sticking out from the son and starts twisting it. The son tosses Jess to the ground. She's able to crawl over to the crossbow, fire one last bolt as the son is charging her. Now, I gotta say, I love how apparently this is a rapid-fire semi-automatic crossbow, because never once do anyone actually load the bolt in and pull back the string.
No, they show her like with it down, like pulling it up. They show her like,
do they? Because
yeah.
I never once saw anybody do that.
Now it was fucking fast.
And
like,
Rick did, and they don't show Rick doing it. He shoots Aubrey in the leg, and then immediately turns and fires a bolt at Jess. He doesn't.
You're right.
So they don't.
He does, but they do show her like raising it back up. So I'm assuming she's reloading.
If they did, it's so fast, because those things
It's
are
very
not
fast,
easy
yeah.
to do. Because I thought she like shot and she like lowered it. Oh, like thinking, okay, I shot you in the chest, you're dead. And, like, oh shit, like, oh, you're still coming. I gotta
Right.
raise it back
like,
up.
crossbows are not rapid fire. I think
No.
they do make one that is pump action. I've seen them. Like it's kind of like you
Maybe,
have it,
yeah.
and when you cock it, it pulls back the string. And then a bolt falls into place, so you can go bang, bang, bang. Well, it's
Maybe.
really
I
that's about
imagine-
as fast as it can go.
Yeah, but I still don't think that was one of them.
I don't think so either. So yeah,
Excuse me. But still, yeah. So anyway, just like Denise in The Walking Dead, the bolt hits the son right in his soft left eye hole. A lot of eye holes in this movie. But that doesn't fucking stop him.
Fuck no.
God damn, this fucking must be on PCP on top of his weed. Because Jesus Christ.
right.
So again, the son knocks the crossbow out of Jess's hand. Like, come on. Okay, he's taken one to the back, one to the chest, which was almost center mass, and now one to the fucking eye.
And let's not forget that he's been bashed with a rock twice. He's been stabbed
repeatedly
multiple
in the
times.
back. Yeah, this guy.
And he's running like a motherfucker. This
Yeah,
guy's
he
got
is.
cardio for days.
Yeah, again, I'll give him the cardio because the army. So I won't question that. But Jesus Christ, this guy, Jason, this is like Jason level
Right.
type of damage this guy's taking and
And he
still
just
coming.
keeps on going.
So he knocks the crossbow out of her hands, knocks her to the ground, mounts her, and he begins to strangle her. All seems lost for Jess, but that's when, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we hear like a loud farting noise, and the son just falls over dead.
What? I didn't get a farting noise.
I swear I thought I heard like a big and then he falls over dead.
What were you smoking?
Nothing. I heard something, and the son just collapses dead.
He didn't fart. He's on top of her strangling, and he goes. "Brrr." He starts to kind of go. I think the blood starts coming out of his mouth. Did you miss that part?
Maybe I did, but
He's on top of her and he's strangling, and I think finally, all after we just went over it, the accumulation of damage was just too much, and he starts going. "Ugh." Maybe that's the fart noise.
Maybe
you heard.
it was.
And
Maybe it just
blood
sounded more like a
Yeah.
like I thought it was more of a. To me, I swear, like, did he just fart and die?
It's the
What
climactic
the
scene.
fuck?
It's the climactic scene, and he pulls a fucking Benny Hill, and then dies. No.
I know. I was like, I thought he just pulled something from Attack of the Killer Donuts or something. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
I missed the blood coming out. I didn't see the blood.
The blood was difficult to see because I heard him gurgling, and because he's dark green, his face is completely dark.
Yeah,
dark.
it's
You
painted.
can't see,
It's
and
camouflaged
there's
up.
dark blood coming out of his mouth. You can barely see it, but it's there.
And then like the ghillie suit is like strands, so
Yeah.
it's hanging. Stuff's hanging down.
It's really difficult to
If
see.
that's the case, then I will.
Yeah, it's not a fart.
I swear to God, I'm not. I thought he just farted and died. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of ending is that?
So he gurgles.
All right.
Not fart. Blood comes out of his mouth, and he falls off of Jess.
And he
collapses.
He's dead. Coughing, Jess gets up, goes over to like the cliff edge where she sits down and just starts looking off into the distance. We roll the credits, but this movie's a little different. Instead of fading to black and we just see the credits, we stay on Jess as the credits roll. We see her look down and she finds Rick's blunt, which is right by her feet. She picks it up, smokes the blunt, starts smoking the weed as the credits continue to roll, and we just watch her sit there on the edge of the cliff, smoking away, staring off in the distance as the credits roll. And then
she got fucked up.
And then it finally ends. We go to black, and that's it. That's 420 Massacre.
420 Massacre.
So, goddamn. Yeah, let's move on to our favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill.
All right. There's solid kills in this movie. An okay number. Pretty. Not. It's nice to see some that they were on screen. They were, pretty decently done. So, what's your pick this week? What was your favorite kill for 420 Massacre?
Excuse me. My favorite was seeing Donna get the bong to the back of the head. That was my favorite.
Yeah,
favorite kill.
That's a good one. I think I'm there with you. Aubrey's kill was fucking brutal and horrible. Like just the emotion, the way it's done. But just as far as I'd probably go with Donna too. I think Donna's probably my favorite kill. Just the bonk to the head. Even though technically we've seen it before because they did that in one of the Pork Chop movies.
They did. I think it was Pork Chop 2, I believe.
It was two or three. But yeah, it was done better in this one. But of course, this one probably had a much higher budget than the Pork Chop movie.
Yeah.
So, I go with Donna.
Yeah, I liked the kill. I thought it was fun. It's 420 Massacre, killed by bong. Fun, yay, brains. He takes a hit and blows in the air. All right, that's my favorite kill by far.
So yeah, both the same kill on this week. All right, so let's move on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, ratings. I will say odds and ends go pretty quick this week because this movie's so brand spanking new. I mean,
brand new. So, like we said, this is only a couple weeks old.
Yeah. IMDb gives it a 6.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, it's not up there yet. There's nothing there. And Amazon gives it a 3.8 out of 5.
Nice.
Plot keywords, nothing up yet. Which
well, that's brand
still
new.
Kind of surprising. So if you guys want, be the first. Be the first one on there and add a bunch of shit.
Weed.
Yeah.
I think weed would be on there.
Weed, it definitely.
You know what won't be on there?
Marijuana.
Panties.
Yeah, no panties for this one.
Panties will not be
There's
on
no
there.
nudity in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I was a little disappointed in. I thought at least maybe with the lesbian makeout we'd get something, but it's okay.
You got 5 babes in the woods, but I guess it makes sense.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not that big of a deal in this movie, but there's none there. Now, trivia, I had to kind of come up with some stuff here because...
Again, it's brand new.
Yeah, it's brand new. So, like I said, Vanessa Rose Parker is married to writer-director Dylan Reynolds. I almost call him Ryan Reynolds.
Now, who is that? Which character is that?
She was Aubrey.
Aubrey, okay.
And in usual indie fashion, a few of the actors in this movie were also producers on the movie. I know Donna and is it Aubrey and Donna, or Donna and somebody else were also producers on it.
Right on.
The Sleeping Wolf shirt that Donna wears,
which I like that shirt, is
for the band Sleeping Wolf that did most of the original music for the movie.
Nice little plug there.
Yeah. Now, again, this is me. I can't confirm this. It's just what I'm coming up with here. I think there's other than the Predator thing, but I think there's 3 other homages and references to other horror movies in this movie.
Okay, let's see what you got.
One, the killer is credited as The Shape, which is exactly what Michael Myers is credited as.
I saw that.
The Shape.
Yes.
So that could be one. This one's kind of a stretch, but I don't know. Jamie Burnett's character, like I said, our main character's name is Jess. This could also be a reference to the final girl from Black Christmas, whose name was Jess. Again, another classic. And Black Christmas, again, especially the original one, is considered one of the upper echelons in the horror world. And then in the movie, the girls are hiking to Higgins Creek, which could be a reference to the primary location of Higgins Haven, which was used the location in Friday the 13th Part 3.
Ooh, you're getting that's pretty deep.
So
how much were you smoking when you were doing
this research? I wish I could be smoking. I don't have anything. So that's all I could get, and I don't know if that's true or not. It's just something that I picked up on. I'm probably some other people picked up on too, I'm sure, but I don't know if, only Dylan knows if that's true or not. So anyway, the budget, could not get in the budget. I sent an email back to Dylan, but he hasn't responded to me in time for us to get the budget. I was hoping he would, but he's probably busy, other stuff. So I'm really sad about that, but we do get to go on to 5-star reviews.
Is this your guilty pleasure? 5-star reviews.
Now
already,
yeah, all right.
Nice.
There are already 5-star reviews and reviews up on Amazon. Not a whole lot, but they're
Sure.
already up. So let's see. From Cagney Fan 67 writes, 420 Massacre was a stoner slasher film, something new and fresh to the genre. There were great characters and great kills. Jamie Burnett presented to us as a strong heroine. Jamie is mentally tough and very smart. One girl who likes her pot is very good for a laugh. It's nice to get a laugh in while the girls are hunted by ruthless killers. I've seen almost every slasher from the 60s until now. I'm really tired of people bragging about they're like,
I've seen so many horror movies.
I love horror movies and I like these bad horror movies and I've seen so many and like, dude, whatever. I've seen almost every slasher. I've seen every slasher from the 60s until now. This is a great fresh entry into the subgenre. There is a touching moment between Jamie and one of the other girls when she expresses her romantic love for Jamie. She was a fun character. The movie is full of fun characters. They had people you liked and cared about. I thought this film was well shot and directed.
Was it fun?
I love the final act. It was real exciting. It's a scary, fun popcorn movie. This was a fun movie to watch.
Yes!
It wasn't a pure scary slasher with moments of humor and touching moments. It wasn't that, but you're saying, I don't know. Jamie carried the movie greatly. You can see Jamie in other great films like, okay, blah, 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 blah. He lists a bunch of shit she's in. Jamie is a fresh new talent in the genre. She's on the rise. She's a great actress and an asset to horror genre, 5 stars. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Lynn O just writes, 420 was a good flick with a quick killer. 5 stars. A quick killer.
He is fast.
Yeah, like that's an odd way to describe like a quick killer.
Yeah, that's
weird.
It's not what I hear often.
Yeah, you don't hear that. Defoe just writes, great movie, period. Then there's Jack review. His review is way too fucking long and boring, so I'm not reading it anyway. And then, so there weren't a whole lot, like I said, it's brand new, but there was already one 1-star review.
Oh, okay.
Just one. From DC Haggy. Writes, believe it or not, I went into this movie with an open mind. It didn't take long, however, for me to realize it was your standard POS, piece of shit horror movie. This was a little different because it celebrated 420 or National Pot Day. Those involved should have just smoked a blunt and called it quits. Tell me how many times this scenario going to be played out. 5 girlfriends set out on a camping trip in the middle of nowhere. You have your alpha female, her lust interest, another alpha female who, for the sake of argument, is straight, her companion who has stars in her eyes, and your stoner. Her one-trick pony got old real quick. You are then introduced to Ranger Rick, who lacks an opposable thumb. Along the way, you meet more victims, and don't forget the killer who is all donned in camouflage. Ooh, scary. Not. Like the 80s slash and dash, the viewer is then treated to uninteresting ways to kill everybody. This pile of steaming garbage was not scary, funny, or interesting. If you cannot figure out who is doing what, then shame on you. 1 star.
Ooh, it's a little brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. But that's it.
I'm guessing that person just doesn't like horror movies very much.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Fuck him. Yeah, I don't. Where do you? Let's wrap this up, Aaron. Where do you fall? What's your final take on 420 Massacre?
420 Massacre, when I first heard about this, I mean, I knew we were going to be doing it a while ago because we were approached and saying, hey, check out our movie. Okay, and, the gloves off. All right. When I hear 420 Massacre, you know what I think of? Fun, good time. Fun, good time horror movie. It's fucking 420, and marijuana's a fun, good time, right?
Yeah.
So, and plus we've had, like, Evil Bong and
those,
of
course,
and then any character in a movie a horror movie where it's the guy smoking weed, it's usually a pretty lighthearted, fun character. This, however, really wasn't that lighthearted and fun of a movie. It has little touches of it. Donna is there for a little bit of comic relief, but at the end of the day, it really breaks down like emotional relationships and father like issues with family, and it gets really deep with that, and then the kills sometimes are really intense, and that last scene where he's got the two girls on their knees and I love you, just saws her head off and holds it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I want to have some fun and like watch a fun 420 of a horror movie. Whoa, what did I sign up for here? Holy Jesus. I was surprised. I was not expecting that. That being said, know that going in, if it's going to be an actual horror movie, and I got mixed messages, I guess, is what I'm saying. I thought it was going to be a little bit more fun, but it just as a indie horror movie on its own, I'm gonna say so bad it's good, because they actually cover they do a little bit of attention to the details. They carry the pack in.
Yes, they do.
They have the killer has a decent story. He was a military member. It explains the suit, his ability to kill, his stuff, explains that. It's isolated enough that it's very believable. So they cover all that stuff very well. The characters aren't bad. The kills are good. There's definitely flaws. I think there's too much talk, not enough shock. So, yeah. That's kind of my gripe.
Okay.
But overall, if you are going to watch it, no, it's not going to be a fun, good time stoner movie.
It's not.
It's going to. If you get stoned and you watch this, you're going to be like, whoa. At the
It's
end.
not. Yeah. It's not like what.
It's not a chuckling good
you
time.
You would probably expect this to be maybe like full moon. Like it would be like right up full moon.
It's 420 Massacre. Yeah.
I agree with you. Let me preface. I will also say before I go into my explanation, I'm going to say so bad it's good as well. But again, it's worth a watch. It's worth at least one watch.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think it's worth a watch.
But here, like I said, a lot of the things I agree with you with. Again, you kind of think like it's going to be. I wasn't expecting full on straight on like evil bong level of cheese, but I wasn't expecting it to be so serious as it was. So because I guess but at the same time, I guess it's hard to find that balance between a weed stoner slasher and then like that serious, but find that balance between too comical or too serious. That's a tough line to tightrope to walk, I guess. But I will say that it had its ups and downs. There's one thing I would have liked to have seen that I thought would have made it a little more. Now I don't know if this would have made it better or worse, but I was kind of hoping to be something along this way, just because it was it made it a little more silly. Going the silly way, but I still thought it'd be fun. I was disappointed when it turned out it really was just a dude in a ghillie suit. I was hoping it was supposed to be some kind of creature. I was really hoping it was gonna be like some kind of like weird magical weed creature that was guarding the weed, like a weed troll or something like that. Like don't take my weed, and like kind of cross like the creature from like don't fuck in the woods or something into make it a little more stoner weeder. Because that would at least been a little different. But once you made like Ranger Rick, yeah, it's kind of predictable at the end when this happens, and that they're working together. I'd rather seen an actual creature, especially like when you see the killer smoking weed. Like if it's like a weed creature smoking weed, like that's how maybe that's how the creature gets its powers.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
He has to
charges up,
charged up with weed or something. I don't know. Yeah, that makes it a little more silly on the silly side. Maybe that's not obviously not what they were going for. But when you have a name like 420 Massacre,
yes,
I think a lot of people are going to expect something more along of the kind of more silly, fun side.
Yes,
not something so serious.
Like Pool Party Massacre did a pretty decent job of like having fun and still being like a good slasher flick.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
That's Pool Party Massacre.
Yeah,
and that was a big hit, and I think they did a good job of walking that line between kind of fun, goofy, and serious slasher. They nailed it. They did a great job.
But at the same time, I do want to give the movie credit, because I will say I agree with you. There was maybe too much dialogue, too much talking, too much downtime. But at least that dialogue and downtime, it was well written. The movie's is pretty solidly well written. So I give Dylan Reynolds really good, props and credit for that, because it is well written. The characters do interact well. But yeah, it's just too much for a horror movie. Like again, like you can say, it's 420. Like we don't need all the backstory. And I'm glad they put the details in there about, like you said, the killer. Okay, explains he's in the army, explains this, but you didn't need so much of it, no matter how well written it was. But that said, I still say So Bad It's Good. I still say it's worth a watch, and it can be enjoyed. But yeah, I'm glad you said just know what you're getting. Don't expect a full moon Evil Bong-esque movie. It's definitely more like
it's more serious.
Yeah,
it's got
like
little,
Wrong Turn or something.
Yeah.
It's it's totally something different.
It's got a fun title, but it's not a fun quote unquote fun movie.
Yeah,
it's not like a good romp through the woods.
Yeah,
and a little bit
exactly.
of fun slasher kill here and there. No, this is no clown camp massacre.
Yeah, I agree. It's yeah. But overall, it's still a solid movie.
Here's a question. And I know we're at the end of our podcast, but I can't believe neither one of us mentioned it. But I just thought to myself, what did you think of the way it was shot? The sepia tone color. They didn't use it was like this yellow sepia tone type of filter that was used the entire
there was
shot.
There was like kind of like a
yellowish
haze
the entire movie. Yeah. That was a little weird. I don't know how I felt about it.
I noticed it, but I can't say it really bothered me because it gave the movie a unique look, which is fine. It gives something else to try to stand out from, make itself stand out from the rest of them. So I get it, but I mean, it didn't bother me. But I didn't really say, "Oh, it looks great that way." Either. It was just like it was a choice to me.
I thought it was a little weird. I don't know how I feel about it still. I mean, I was because at first I was like, "This is fucking weird," and then it was fine, no big deal. But then the end, when we're having these serious run-ins and stuff, I noticed it again for some reason because it was a sky in the background. It didn't look like a picturesque blue sky. It's this weird yellowish sky. I'm like, that doesn't look right. What's going on? It took me back out of it. So it was. I didn't know how I felt about it.
Okay.
I still don't know. I was just kind of wondering what you thought.
Yeah, I didn't. Honestly, I really don't have an opinion on it one way or the other. It didn't bother me. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It was just like
I felt like I was wearing blue blockers half the time I was watching.
I could kind of see that. Yeah. I'm neutral on it.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys are still listening, we appreciate it, and we forgot to do this last few weeks, and we should do it at the top of the show. So I won't hate you guys if you turn us off now, but tell them where they can follow us.
You know where you can find us. You can find us at horriblehorrorpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. Our Twitter handle again is at So Bad It's Scary, and of course you can find us on Instagram. And Instagram is kind of one of our favorite platforms. It's very flexible.
We're definitely using it the most.
We use Facebook. Now. We use Twitter, but honestly, Instagram is probably our most.
Facebook. Facebook is where if you want to keep up with we put announcements like what movie we're gonna be doing next, and then when the episodes are up, and maybe a few other little things here or there I'll pop up. But it's just more. But then Instagram is more of our kind of just
let's use our main one.
It's kind of like our everyday kind of
I just like that platform best personally.
And then I'll mention again, but I know.
Oh, but that's where you can find us. You can always listen to us at horriblehorrorpodcast.com, where you can download episodes. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher.com or Speaker.com. Yeah, we're not on Stitcher.
No.
We're not on Stitcher yet. But we're around, man.
And
you can find us.
I'm going to throw out there, I know I've dropped the ball a bit on this because it's just hard to come up with all the different tiers and rewards because I have limited funds to get stuff for rewards, but we do have a Patreon page, so if you would like to help support the show and throw a little money our way, it'd be greatly appreciated. You can go find us on patreon.com/horriblehorror. $1, $5 here and there, whatever. It'd be great. It would really help us out. And then we can start getting more products and little fun things to send people as rewards and all this stuff. Anyway, that's it for this week, guys. We'll be back next week with a super show. Next week is a very special super show. Super episode of
our 128th episode extravaganza.
Yeah, 128 because it's such a great number. But it will be a super show next week. So come back for that. But in the meantime, watch more horror movies and remember to always keep it tight.